Good morning, everybody. This is Mike from the Last Corvette. I am currently driving down I-75 going south, going back to Metro Detroit area. Spent a couple of days up north at my friend's cabin, and yes, this video is about the Ford F-150 Powerboost that I got a couple of months ago now. Listen, I'm going to say this. I truly love this truck. I haven't had a Ford pickup truck in a long time. And, you know, I've been kind of making little videos here and there about this truck. And, you know, we're just going to focus in on the most important part, which is the reason why I got this truck, which is fuel economy. So later in this video, I'm going to stitch in some pictures, and you guys will see what the MPG is, or what I should say was, during this trip. So currently I'm driving back. The last time I filled up was last Thursday, last week. Today is Sunday. Now normally, obviously, I went on a road trip, 150 miles one way, right? Normally, you know, this truck basically does two weeks in between fill-ups for me if I just drive my usual 60 miles a day or so, which 30 is spent on the highway, and the other 30 is spent on surface roads or roads off the highway, so between 30 and 50 miles per hour. Now, one of the things that I brought up in my original video is that I was driving this vehicle. The first fuel economy test was done in normal mode. So normal mode is, you know, you just start the truck. That's your normal mode without putting or pushing anything, right, or putting the vehicle into any certain, you know, option. So since my last fill up, I've been specific on the economy mode or the eco mode, right? So it's supposed to, you know, give you better fuel economy, and you know, your shift points are a little bit different, your throttle response is a little bit different, but I just wanted to compare basically, honestly, apples to apples and see how it does in economy mode. So before I went on this trip, I'm just going to tell you that one thing that I kind of adjusted to keep everything fair is my expressway or highway speeds. I used to go 75, 85, 90, like just flowing with traffic. So I'm like, you know, if we're going to do this, I should probably, you know, do 70, 75, something like that. And I've been doing that, right? To give you guys more of a realistic take of where this truck sits as far as fuel economy. And like I said, this is average economy, right? This is like the best of both worlds. So in my initial test, being a little heavy-footed, obviously on the expressways and highways, it came out to like 21.5 miles to a gallon. 29% of that was spent in full electric mode, so 29% of the miles. The cool part about this truck is, you know, your trip or even your everyday trip, it tells you exactly how many miles you traveled in total, obviously utilizing gas and then just electric, right? So 21.5, I forget what it was, 560 or so miles or something like that, I forget now. But like I said, this test is a little bit different. So 23.5 miles is what I was averaging, and that's what the computer was showing, just doing my mixed driving. And I'm assuming if I would have just kept on trucking for another week, it would have remained the same or possibly got a little bit better, maybe, you know, 24. I really see 24 as a doable number, mixed driving, right? But this truck, this is a Powerboost hybrid, so it has an electric motor, obviously has a battery, right? It's not a plug-in hybrid, it's a regen. So essentially where it shines is off the expressway when you're applying brakes, stop and go traffic type of thing, right? And then you're actually using the electric motor to slow down your truck, and then what it does, it regens. It takes that energy that you're creating, and instead of just wasting it, it puts it back into your battery pack. And of course, when you're on the highway, the thing about this truck is when you're on the highway, you know, what I've noticed is, will it go into electric mode? Yes, it will. In certain conditions, it'll shut off the engine and then run off the battery. But you're at higher speeds, right? And so it's a kind of a little different approach. So 23 and a half is what I was getting, right? This time around, basically slowing myself down on the highway, using the economy mode. Now, when I left Friday after work, and, you know, took I-75 north, same thing. I was, you know, 70, 75, cruise control, with bluecruise set, you know, nothing special. I'm obviously running a little bit of heat, heated seat is on, but I'm not, you know, running AC or anything like that. By the time I got off the expressway, I was at 24 and a half miles to a gallon, right? Now, of course, I didn't reset anything. This was just that particular trip when I left the office and hit the freeway. 24 and a half. That is freaking really good. I don't care, you know, who you are, what you say, what truck you have. This is the reason why I wanted to get myself a Powerboost after looking at all the different trucks. You know, it kind of combines the best of both worlds, right? It's not a plug-in hybrid. It is a hybrid. It's a regen hybrid. It still has 430 horse, 570 foot-pounds of torque. It is very capable as far as being a truck. You can haul. This is a 5.5 foot bed crew cab, so it's a full size, you know, rear seat, full size rear doors, and you know, you can do everything that a truck can, a gas truck, right? But yet you can actually use it as an A to B vehicle, essentially as a, you know, daily, and still get decent MPGs, considering this is a full-size light-duty pickup truck. And of course, let's not forget about you know, simple point that this one here, the way it's equipped, it can tow 12,000 pounds. If you get the longer bed, you can get a little bit more, but that's a lot. And I've always said, you know, this to various people. I'm like, if you need to tow more than even 10, 11,000, specifically like on a regular basis, you should probably consider a heavy-duty truck if you're doing that kind of you know, hauling, right, and towing. But like I said, this one kind of checks everything off the list when it comes to you know, options, features, engine, and obviously MPGs. You know, I don't know what other trucks get, but I had a 2.7 Turbo Max, as I stated in my previous videos. That thing was not very good on fuel at all. I think on the expressway I was getting like 21, 22. And in the city, once again, in the city is where everything kind of falls down, right? You're not in the higher gear, you're not in the proper RPM range, you're in and out of the throttle, and most trucks, most bigger SUVs, that's where they suffer. And unlike everyone else, this truck actually performs a lot better. That's where you see most of your electric miles, is when you're driving, you know, within the city limits, or, you know, off the highway expressway. So I'm also going to do another basically picture, or I might even do a video later on, to show you guys the complete trip. So trip one that I have set from last Thursday, right? Well, I shouldn't say last Thursday, a week ago Thursday, when I first filled up. So we'll see what the miles is, what the average is. You know, the 24 and a half was that particular trip, right? So from the office to my buddy's cabin, essentially, was 24 and a half miles per gallon. And then we'll see what it does overall, because now I'll be combining this trip. I will be combining all of my other driving that I did previously. And I think it should give anyone that's looking at a F-150 Powerboost a good, basically, picture of what to expect. Now, can you get close to 25 miles a gallon or better on the expressway with this truck? Yes, absolutely. I believe you can. You know, if you lock it in at 70 miles per hour in eco mode, yes, you will approach the sticker numbers that Ford, you know, basically averages out, and so far it's been spot on, right? 21 and a half mile MPG. The first one that I got is somewhat of a, you know, kind of a skewed test, right? Because I was going pretty quick on the expressway, and most of that was made up by driving on the surface roads. All right, so the next thing, right, we're going to talk about is obviously the BlueCruise, right? The hands-free autonomous driving. I actually got to, you know, really get, you know, kind of hands-on, in-depth while on this trip, and I'm actually using it right now. So I used it on the way up, and I'm also using it on the way down. I've been through construction, I've been through stop and go traffic. It performs really well. It does everything for you. It's essentially kind of like, adaptive cruise control, right? With lane keep assist, lane centering, all that good stuff, right? So even those vehicles with those options pretty much do the same thing. They'll stop, they'll slow down, they'll pick up speed. Excuse me. And, kind of do everything in between. But this vehicle lets you actually drive without your hands on the steering wheel. It does have adaptive cruise control, obviously. So what that basically means is that every X amount of seconds, I don't know if it's a minute or less, 30 seconds, it will tell you to grab a hold of your wheel and basically take control of the vehicle. Otherwise it'll disengage the cruise control, and that happens in a couple of different areas. So you can use adaptive cruise control in this truck anywhere, right, on any roads, right? The bluecruise only works on highways, obviously your major highways and expressways in US and in Canada as well. So once you get on I-75 or like 696 here in Michigan or whatever else, you have bluecruise available, and it's a great assist tool, right? I'm not telling you that you can be in the back seat sleeping. You do have cameras looking at you. There's two cameras, one in the A-pillar and then one right above this big screen that they put on these trucks, and it's looking, right? So taking a sip of water or even maybe taking a bite out of your sandwich, it's not going to shut off bluecruise, right? Autonomous driving. But if you're on your phone or if you're distracted, right, or whatever, yes, it will start beeping and then it'll shut it off, and it'll basically go into adaptive, and then from there it'll just shut it off completely, and you'll have to take control of the vehicle. But yeah, it's a great tool if you're on a longer trip and you just want to kind of, take a little break, and just kind of, relax a little bit. Especially, like I said, 150 miles is one thing, but if you're traveling across the United States, I think that's where autonomous really comes into play. But, like we'll say downfalls of bluecruise, I don't really see any. Like I said, I really put it through the paces, going through some construction zones and stop and go traffic. It does tell you, so let's say for example you have your cruise control set at 75 like it is now, right? And let's say you have your distance set, 2 car lengths, 3 car lengths. If somebody is driving slow in front of you, let's say 70, and your cruise is set at 75, the vehicle will actually tell you it's okay, or I think the message is like you can basically go around, and essentially what it's saying is you can go faster, and by going around to switch lanes, it is very, very simple. You either turn your turn signal either to the right or to the left. Vehicle will do a quick check to make sure nobody is in your blind spot or doing anything stupid, and it will automatically switch lanes for you. Now, does it exit freeways and highways? No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter if you have nav on or not, it's not going to do that. So if you're approaching your exit or like an on-ramp, you will have to take control of the vehicle. That's just as simple as that. On the way up, I can tell you this, I was driving, obviously I-75 north, but there's a stretch of road where 75 basically splits, and northbound I-75 is actually on the southbound side because of construction that they're doing on I-75 for like 10 miles. So when I crossed over onto the I-75 southbound side, even though I was going north, of course bluecruise stopped working and it went to adaptive, which makes sense because it's like, wait a minute, why are you driving on the wrong side of the freeway? So it knows. It's not like alarms going off or anything like that, because within the navigation it does know if there's traffic or if there is construction zones. But that's kind of like uncharted type mapping. So it tells you, hey, bluecruise is about to shut off, and you're basically going to be taking control of the vehicle. And once I was back on the northbound side of the expressway, some 10 miles later, it kicked back on automatically. As far as the cruise control goes, and when you're in bluecruise, you can still do everything like a normal cruise control. You can adjust your speed, you can cancel it. Obviously if you cancel it, everything shuts off, and then you can resume your cruise control, which then bluecruise will kick on. It usually takes a little bit, like a couple of, I'll say 5 seconds. So you set your cruise control at first. Sometimes it'll just tell you to keep your hands on the steering wheel, and then eventually it'll just go right into hands-free. And then if you've been driving for X amount of time and you engage bluecruise, it'll just come right on automatically. It will also tell you if you're not using bluecruise, when you're driving, on various expressways and highways, it will tell you basically, hey, bluecruise is available if you want to use it. Right on the dash, it'll display it, or bluecruise active, available right now for your trip, something like that. So pretty cool stuff. I mean, my first truck with autonomous driving. I've had obviously various vehicles with adaptive cruise controls. My first hybrid of any kind. I've never had a hybrid, and like I said, I kind of try to shy away from like plug-in hybrids. Obviously, the main reason, for example, if I go to my buddy's cabin, he has very limited outlets outside, obviously, right? And they're all 15 amp, plugs anyway. So, it's one of those things where, if I had a full EV truck or a car or even a plug-in hybrid, number one, obviously now you're using up his energy. It'd be different if it was my place. But number two, 15 amp. I mean, you're going to be charging and charging and charging and charging forever, specifically in colder months, and that's something I didn't want to do. So getting to a Powerboost with regen hybrid capability was like the best of both worlds for me. And yes, it's not getting 30 miles to a gallon or 40 miles to a gallon, but I think 24, 25 is very, very respectful when it comes to, like I said, a full-on, full-size light-duty pickup truck, four-wheel drive, all that jazz, right? All right, so what I'm going to do is I will either take a picture or a quick video when I get off the expressway, because I'll have to fill up anyway. I have like 30 miles to E right now, and what do I have to go here? I have 57 miles to go, so I'll have to basically get off the expressway and either find Kroger or Costco, fill up, and then I'll show you guys exactly what I did on the way up, which will be a picture that I'll edit in, and then a full-on, economy broken down again, when it comes to gas, electric, on a full tank. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you for sure is taking these longer trips on the expressway, I am not going to see huge electric numbers. Like I said, all those electric numbers come from driving on the main roads, not expressways. On the expressway, you're relying basically on your engine, your economy mode, your speed setting, and like I said, it still kicks on and off. It still goes through and shuts the engine off, kicks it back on, but it's almost like a burst, right? So if you're like going downhill, it'll automatically shut the engine off. If you're going uphill, it'll kick it on. And the reason is because now your engine essentially is becoming the generator to regen and recharge the battery pack versus actually utilizing the brakes when you're using the brakes, which you're not on the expressway. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.